Ball in focus at Teed Up Indoors on Battleground. Got Jason McMasters with us, home of Davis Stroxer, Teed Up Indoors. Had some great guests so far tonight. Heard from Mike Fanning, heard from Bryant Roche, heard from Enad Dad. Just talked to Jay Ramey. Now I got Jason here. Jason, so I was going to flip my sheet and to go your part of my pregame setup for you. Here's what we have planned for you so far here. This is what I prepared for him tonight as far as the overall goes for Jason. Here it is, though. Preview of Grimsley and Huff tomorrow night.
Grimsley and Huff, I tell you what, Andy, it is an exciting time here in Guilford County. We have two undefeated teams in Grimsley and Dudley having two potentially historic seasons. Grimsley and Huff, I think it's going to be a very tight contest. I think we can expect a similar contest to what we saw last year in the playoffs between these two teams, and that thriller that Grimsley was eventually able to pull out. So definitely looking forward to an exciting competitive contest between the Whirlies and the Huskies.
And we got Dudley and J.M. Robinson going at it, and Grimsley's here, Dudley's here, two Greensboro teams. Who can last the longest? Hope they both keep going all the way through. But Dudley's challenge against J.M. Robinson tomorrow night. Yes,
Dudley is going to be facing probably their toughest challenge of the whole year. J.M. Robinson is undefeated as well as Dudley. Nilledge Wright brings an explosive game into this contest. 2,000 yards, 31 touchdowns. So that's definitely going to give Dudley some problems.
He's the closest touchdown man I think I've run into lately to Mitchell Summers, a 35 over Grimsley. This guy's got 31 and Mitchell's got 35, so both guys putting up the numbers. What do you think is going to be the toughest thing about that Dudley game tomorrow night?
Toughest thing about the Dudley game is going to be, I think it's going to come down to Dudley's offense against Robinson's defense, and who's going to want it down the stretch.
They got that big 6'6", 310 nose guard on J.M. Robinson. I mean, you got to be pretty good to be that big moving around out there. It's going to be a troublesome spot for Dudley possibly. But the key about Dudley is get that ball out and get those wideouts and let those guys run.
It's going to be interesting for the Panthers to see how they react to being in a game down the stretch. All of the Dudley's games so far this season have been over pretty much in the second quarter. So it's going to be interesting to see how they respond to potentially being in a tough, tight ball game and having to win a tough, tight ball game down the stretch.
It was being said about Grimsley earlier. A lot of the Grimsley players, just like the Dudley players, those guys haven't been playing in the fourth quarter this year.
No.
I mean, they've been done for the game by the time the fourth quarter comes.
No.
The reserves are in. They played the last part of the game, so this will be a whole different look tomorrow night, possibly for these two teams.
Yes, definitely. It's going to be a challenging, two challenging games for both of our Guilford County schools here. So looking forward to an exciting night of football.
Where are you going to be at tomorrow night?
I will be with you tomorrow.
Be over at Dudley.
Dudley and J.M. Robinson. Nilledge Wright for J.M. Robinson.
That's your man you're marking right now.
That's my man I'm marking. When I saw that statistic of his stats for the season, I was very impressive.
We got to get his uniform number. That's the key next. Got to get his uniform number.
Number 3.
3? Well,
number 3.
That's all you need to know. If you're a Dudley player, I mean,
number 3.
It's all about the uniform number because they had the kid C.J. Ferguson a couple weeks back who came in from, what was it, West Iredale, number 12. I still remember his number 12, and they had to mark that guy, and they were able to gradually wear him down. He got him early. He did pretty well against him early. This past week, the team, Central Davidson, never got going. Like I said, it was like a 1935, 1940 looking offense, just a tight formation, no wideouts, and the quarterback was under the center, and they're trying to push the pop of the field. But, I mean, this week, it's a wide open offense.
Wide open offense. And Robinson is coming into this game having defeated their arch rivals,
Northwest Cabarrus.
Northwest Cabarrus. 2 emotional games for them over the past 3 weeks. So it's going to be interesting to see how they bring that over to this contest.
It's weird too because last week in that game, Robinson was down 17-13 in the fourth quarter, came back and won it. So they were capable of coming back and winning that late game situation. But they were behind. Plus the quarterback last week, he threw 2 picks, and that's pretty tough in these playoff games. That's something Dudley defenders need to be aware of. They might have a chance to grab a couple of those footballs. And Nasir Newkirk's going to be out there more on defense. So it's same thing for Bartley. Bartley's going to be on defense playing more for Dudley as they get further in the playoffs. These guys will play both ways. They're going to play a lot more for Dudley.
So Dudley has tasted You know, they tasted that unfortunate loss that they had last year
Against South Point.
Against South Point. So they're hungry. They know what that loss felt like, so they don't want to have that happen again this year. So I think the Panthers are going to come in hungry, and it's going to be a very interesting contest.
And if you're a senior on Dudley, you want to go out on the final stage. That would be
Yes.
the state championship stage where you want to be for that final game. If you get that far, I'll say this, you want to win the title game, but when you get that far, I mean, you made it, then you take care of business. But it's just getting to that game is so important. For Grimsley, tomorrow night against Huff, do you see that Hauser kid coming in being a difference in the game for Hauser, their kicker, the guy with that good foot they got?
Good foot, number one kicker in the nation, and he did set the national record
For field goals made,
field
yeah.
goals made,
Right.
right, Andy? So you want to kind of keep him out of the game as much as you can.
Kicked a 53-yarder this year, too. 12 of 15 in field goals
Wow.
this year. 12 this year of
Wow.
15. That's a lot of field goals made for a high school team, making 12.
Yes.
And I think he's like 69
That's
or
NFL
70.
professional caliber right there.
69 to 70 in PAT so far this year. in that
Right,
road, too.
right.
So your predictions tomorrow, our Greensboro teams are in good shape tomorrow night. They're going to win.
We should be in good shape, but like I said, toughest games of the season so far for Grimsley and Dudley.
Southeast Alamance goes to Clinton. Any chance for Southeast Alamance to carry on this continual playoff magic?
Why not?
Well, beat Clinton, beat the Dark Horses, be a Dark Horse, beat the Dark Horses. What about Southern Alamance at home tomorrow night? I mean, they've been winning too without their coach who got let go, so the Patriots keep winning.
I think they can keep that going on tomorrow as well.
And Reedsville Rams against Brevard. Do you feel good about the Rams rolling up at Community Stadium in Reedsville?
Reedsville hardly ever loses at home, so I expect them to come out on top tomorrow, advance to the fourth round.
What about Mount Tabor down at Butler, Matthews Butler? That's going to be a tough road to travel.
Tough road to travel, interesting game. I hope Mount Tabor can go down there to a tough Butler team and bring back home a win to the area.
Like they used to say years ago, beat Butler's butt, right?
Yes.
Beat the
Butler's
Butler Bulldogs. Jason, good job as always. See you tomorrow night at Dudley.
Thanks for having me.
Football in Focus from Tip Indoors. Great place to play some golf. We'll see you here again soon on Football in Focus on GreensboroSports.com and Greensboro Sports Radio.